Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you find yourself in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours. Tonight we return to the Orlando venue, the Mage, Orlando Ascended. Tonight, our scene takes us to a few mages who had just spent a bit of time relaxing after a very stressful previous night and witnessing some interesting things, but they have an assignment tonight. They should probably go check out the morgue, as they were recommended to one Greg Lustria. Our scene now begins with Kat and Clea after the hangover.
Well, I guess we're at home because Cat is staying with us for the
Yes,
time being. So
yes, you're at home. No,
yeah,
you're in the pits of hell. Yes, you're at home.
I'm
He's
gonna
home.
I'm gonna go out of the garage and go into the main house to find Cat and knock on the guest room door.
Show up in. Hello.
Hey, Cat. Going to the morgue. Wanna come with? I have a helmet and everything.
We have to meet that guy at the morgue. Yes, I'll come.
Yeah, I guess the others will take the body there, but yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
I'm
let's
not a
go.
dead body, so you don't have to hide me.
Yeah, you'll wear a helmet though.
Okay.
Okay. We'll go to the garage now and take the bike and vroom out of here.
Aren't you forgetting something?
um.
Dahlia probably would have kept the corpse because she can preserve it with life.
Yeah, I didn't take the corpse with me.
But do you remember what you were going to do with the corpse?
um. Take it to the Greg dude
And where is the Greg dude?
at the morgue.
Right. What are you taking?
I'm taking Cat.
Right. And
Again,
aren't you
Dahlia
forgetting something?
probably would have kept the body
I
so
didn't
that
take
she
the
could preserve
body.
it.
I didn't take
I
the
know.
body.
So are
I
you going to let
left.
Dahlia know you're going?
Oh, oh,
He's
oh.
just gonna go to the morgue and be like, "Oh, where's the body? Oh, whoops."
Well, actually, this would make more sense. We'll go to the morgue, see that the body isn't there, and then we'll call Dahlia. Okay? Because that makes more sense to my character.
Shayna,
No, no,
I want to, I want to do
Ye-
it. I want to do it so bad. I
oh,
just, I just,
okay.
I just want her dead.
no, I'll
Dude,
say.
I mean, okay, look at my flaws and tell
I'm
me
gonna
that this
say,
doesn't make
I'm,
sense.
I'm gonna say your character has at least a decent amount of intelligence to remember to call Dahlia and have
Yeah.
everyone meet at the morgue. So
No,
let's
Absolutely.
do that.
Yeah, but
Catherine. Catherine
she
will
probably
text. Gotcha.
assumes, though, that
Yeah.
they were going to meet there because they were talking about it the last night.
I'm gonna start rolling dice. You don't start forgetting.
Catherine will text Dahlia.
Oh, the mage characters will not survive this campaign.
I'm
So Dahlia, you get
absent-minded,
a text.
goddammit.
Catherine.
Claire, I'll go ahead and say you get a text as well, since you are Euthanatos. This might be something you might be able to help with as well.
Yay!
So, and I'll take it that you all head to the morgue.
Yep.
It's obvious. It's What time of the day would you actually like to go? He said it would be better to go later in the evening.
7 p.m.
Okay, so it's starting to get a little bit dark, but you notice
By the
that
way, I'm assuming
this,
Matthias drove the car.
yeah.
Uh,
No,
Probably.
he'll just sit there and be like, Dahlia, you're good, you're good. I'll guide
You know, like,
you.
what movie was it with Al Pacino?
All right, so you arrive at the morgue, and it's pretty abandoned. There's actually not a whole lot of activity going on here at the coroner's office. And you also notice that there is a note on the front door, and it says your names, Dahlia, Clea, Claire. And Cat, please enter through the back. I will be waiting.
How does he know my name?
How
How
does he
does he
know
know
our
our names?
names?
Exactly.
Maybe it's magic. I'm gonna say from right behind Clea.
Oh,
You're mages.
She'll jump. Meow. And yes, she does. She does a meow coming from the new girl when she jumps.
Oh, gods help me.
it's okay. They're doing that. Don't worry, cat. Come on, kitty. Let's go.
Claire's gonna go around to the back ahead of any of them. She'll even offer an arm to Dahlia before she fully takes off.
Dahlia has her arm in Matthias's, so.
Okay,
Mhm.
that's fine. Claire was trying to be nice. Fuck you both.
Like she's fine with Claire. She would much rather be holding on to
To the
Oh,
troll. To the troll's cock.
And she'll look at Claire. Catherine looks at Claire. Hello,
hello, meowing girl.
my name's Catherine. People call me Cat.
My name is Claire. People like Clea call me creepy or alive.
Sorry, I didn't catch that second part. People what?
People like Clea call me creepy or 11.
What do you want to be called?
Claire Redwood's fine.
11 is a nice number.
But she's not a number. She's a person. She. Anyways, let's go.
Thank you.
That's not the point here.
Pretty sure it is. And then she'll just. She'll
People,
just.
associate names with faces. I don't make the same association in my brain. It just works differently.
Well, you
Haven't
can
you
call
guys
her.
learn to be more accepting?
I mean, you can call her 11 when you talk about her yourself, but when you refer to her, talking to her, maybe call her Claire.
Well, it will take some time for me to get there.
Okay. And then she'll just keep walking towards the morgue, towards the back.
Yeah, Claire is awkwardly trying to stay in Clea's line of vision while not being too close to her, though, because of their last situation
What was the last situation?
where she called you a cold-hearted machine during the argument.
Well, we did make up when the vampire was there.
Yeah, she's now just trying to give you your space and not be surprising you too much.
Much appreciated.
Go to the back.
You go to the back morgue door and you see that the door is unlocked and you can go down into the coroner's office. This is of course Florida. There's no offense to those who live in Florida. It sucks. There typically tends to be busy days at the coroner's office. And so as you go down, you can see that there's a lot of activity left over from
Question.
probably
carrying the
today
body?
activity. It doesn't really matter. I'll say Matthias because he's got strength 7.
I was about to say that's probably the best idea.
It's just a body. It's not a boulder.
I was talking weight-wise because Claire only has like a 2 in strength.
Ah, poor humans.
You wouldn't be able to do very well either, Cleo. But anyway,
I would on my right arm.
yeah,
We're not doing
you enter the morgue, and it's pretty busy leftovers. A lot of bodies here or there still, and you can see one light on in one particular office or autopsy room.
Claire will
All
go
over.
to the lit room, muttering, "This is the first time I've ever taken the back entrance."
You get to the light room, and you see this man sitting in a doctor's chair, writing down some notes. You can see that his clothes are pretty well stained, and he has a lot of implements all over the place. And the table has apparently been cleaned off. And he's writing down. He kind of looks up, and he's like, welcome.
Hi.
I'd shake your hand, but it's a little bit of a mess right now. Hold on a sec.
Claire just sticks her hand out.
After he scrubs his hand a little bit, he shakes your hand. And he's like, I've heard of you all. Claire, Clea, Dahlia, Cat, and, oh, hey, Matthias. Hey, Greg. And he just starts setting the body down on the table.
Clea will take her journal out and write down the name.
Give him the
So,
number 23.
who is, I heard a little bit of information from the top, but who is this gentleman you brought me today?
One moment. Okay, one sec. Had it here. Yeah, he's William Dunlow, apparently.
William Donlow. Interesting. Starts looking him over.
Yeah, he
All
was
right,
in the house.
I see. Interesting. And how long was it till you spotted him?
Mm, he was in the freezer.
Hmm. Thanks for a moment. He's like, all right, this is going to get a little bit messy. And he's literally going to do a freaking all scan, plus he's going to start using matter and life magic. But he's going to do a full autopsy with very odd steampunk looking implements. And as he starts going through and starts actually cutting into the body,
Can
you
I
all start
help?
to notice a few things.
Can I help? I can help.
Sure. You all start to notice a few things as you're going at it. This man on his right arm has some kind of cyber attachment like Cleo. It is not a. It's like for those of you who've seen Terminator, it's literally the Terminator hand. He has a full on metal exoskeleton on his right hand. It's going up to his shoulder. And he says, okay, interesting. And he starts scanning it over. It's pretty high quality metal. He starts scanning and looking, and then he gets to the brain and heart section. And then he says, what do we have here? And he does a little bit of dissection on the skull, and he pulls out a small, what looks like kind of micro USB chip. Says, I wonder what this has on it. We'll look at that in a little bit here. He starts going for the heart and the other areas. And then he opens up the heart and he says, You see him reach down behind the heart area and he pulls out what looks to be a little tiny um, silver steak. But it's really small. It's like maybe about the size of a necklace. Little figurine silver steak. And he's like, okay, that part was odd.
How did that end up in there?
No idea, but I tell you one thing, it did not end up there um, after you did. That was time of death. This thing's been in there a while.
Can I look at that with spirit?
You may.
Alrighty. Let me boot up my rolls, I guess.
That would be difficulty 4. If you take time, it will be difficulty 3.
I'm probably going to take time while he's talking to Clea and look.
Yeah,
I'm
Dahlia's gonna do the same.
All right.
Let's see, my spirit.
Both of you roll me your everything.
Oh, well, that's just 3 dice.
And Catherine will also use her 3 visions.
Yeah, she's gonna use all of hers.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna roll it too.
Yep, that's 3 successes.
Are we all doing spirit also?
She is doing spirit, matter, mind, prime, and spirit.
I don't have spirit.
I don't know if my entropy or mind or life would apply towards this roll.
What is the difficulty of
Mine.
the roll?
If you
4,
focused it.
3 if you focus.
But Serenity, why'd you only roll 2 dice?
I always roll 3. I always roll focus. Oh,
Are
got
you,
But I
are you
hit.
on
shit.
irritate too?
That's
Well-
a shit, Doug.
Hold on, my art is 3. I accidentally hit 2.
It's okay.
Well, that's a shitty
Melton.
roll. Yes, that's a shitty roll. That does not work.
That's a botch.
Yep.
I was
Hold
going
on.
to take my time, but no, okay. Ah, fuck.
Cat.
Oh, well.
And it is not coincidental here unless
Yep.
this is his sanctum.
Granted, it's not a sanctum. Granted, this was all happening in the site, and it's not really something that would be
Oh.
vulgar,
Oh,
but it was a botch.
two
Oh.
So,
botches.
so
My
granted, there's no vulgarness. There's
No,
no vulgar.
that's just a fail on Serenities because there is a success there.
There's two. That's a botch, though.
No, it is a
No,
botch. It's
because there is at least one success, it is
where
not a botch.
it's two ones and one
Yeah, it's
eight.
better to see as long as you
It
have a
has a
success.
single success.
It doesn't
Okay,
take
then,
one
Roll.
then, then,
success.
then,
Yes.
then Nelson is fine
Okay.
because he got a
Yes.
3 and his difficulty was 3. So no one takes any stuff.
Okay.
Yes, as long as there is a single success anywhere in the roll, you
Okay.
don't botch.
Okay.
Nelson takes 26 paradox. No,
Yeah, that would be instant explosion.
so Kat and Claire, you're having a little bit of trouble here because it's just a different kind of environment compared to what you guys have been to, and it's hard to focus. Dahlia and Clea, you're able to kind of focus on, and I'll tell you what you see with the spheres. You look at the silver stake, and it is indeed made out of silver. There are a lot of entropy strands around it. There is some matter alteration. There is a little bit of spirit residue on it, and no life. There is no mind, and no correspondence. For those of you who looked at it with correspondence,
How about Prime?
there is a little bit of primal energy.
Yeah,
This is
because she
clearly
has Prime up as well.
this is clearly a magical item. Don't know what it was doing in bed in his heart, but ugh. You go ahead and analyze this through. He starts typing on his covered keypad.
You know that he was an employee of Pentex, right?
Yeah, that's what I figured. And he's
Was
typed
he?
some stuff through.
Was
Like,
he a
okay, this
vampire?
is. Uh, no, if it was a vampire, it'd be Ash.
But it. Oh, I mean, thinking steak, maybe magic steak. No, like vampires.
No,
It's
this man is.
okay. Oh dear. You know what? I'll let you explain.
Vampires are not brain dead. This man is clinically brain dead.
I shall not.
Well, and if he wasn't before the cutting, now he's definitely dead.
I don't know. I've seen Supernatural survive a lot of stuff. But anyway, let's go through the analysis here. Puts up a program, and it looks like he's got some Son of Ether stuff, and he's got a little bit of Virtual Adept stuff too. He starts analyzing stuff in the computer. He says, "Okay, well, this guy's age was correct. Looks like cause of death. It looks like after analyzing this with a bit of magical sight, his oh, that's creepy.
What is?
What
Okay,
do you see?
well, think of it like this way. You know how our souls and our essence, like we have our own tapestry?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever did this literally shattered his tapestry.
Claire looks extremely upset.
It takes a lot of prime and spirit to do that. Literally, his essence was either taken out of his body or utterly destroyed. Because it ain't here.
Um.
Normally, when a body dies, you can see some spiritual residue. And you take a close look at his body, but his body has no spiritual residue whatsoever. I mean, I've dissected bodies that have been dead for hundreds of years, and they still have some spiritual residue. This guy's got none. It was yoinked.
They didn't only kill him, they undid him.
Pretty much, from the looks of it.
Well, that's something we should fix because how else is he supposed to be reborn if we don't?
Kind of looks around, looks at some of the other body parts and what he's been dissecting. He says, "Okay, well, let's see what this USB holds." I'm going to go ahead and run Bretta's hacking program through this because I do not know what this USB is going to hold, guys.
To
So
be
if my
fair,
computer blows
were there
up, get out of here.
USBs in 2000?
I believe
Yeah,
so.
Yes.
there were USBs in 1995. There's USBs in 2000.
Okay.
I just don't think they were as
They
big.
just didn't hold nearly as much.
Yeah.
Yes. He puts it into his computer, goes through some stuff, and at
Like back
first
then, the
there's nothing.
16 gigabyte flash drive was fucking huge.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll a little something here.
Could I get a copy of that?
I can give it a shot here. Wow. That was his hack roll. So, yeah, that easily gets it. He manages to hack into the USB because apparently it did have protection on it from the looks of it. He says, dang, this thing had a good security system. Oh, well, I'll be darned. Huh. Well, that doesn't make any sense.
What's in there?
Well, it's got some video footage, audio footage, and etc. This guy was a fucking hit mark? Never seen a hit mark look like this.
What is Hitmark?
They're not usually this human.
No, they're not. Not like
Um,
this anyway.
to answer your question, Kat, hit marks are it's an abbreviation for hyper intelligent technology, Mark 5 or 10, depending on the series.
So
Indeed, we
That
got
one?
old Rusty, and then we got the Model X's.
Yeah, this doesn't look like either one.
This
No,
one,
this looks like
like the
unique.
enhancement this one has, is on par with mine, pretty much. Almost.
This is more advanced than even what you have. This looks entirely human.
Indeed, bone structure's all correct. Muscle tendons are all correct. Not only that, it's some of the hit marks tend to have a lot of artificial stuff like metal exoskeletons, plating, claws, etc., etc. But literally almost every part of this guy is
I mean, it
human.
has the arm.
Heart, liver, lungs, all of it. It's there. This is quite the interesting feat.
Could
Not
it
only
be a
that,
prototype?
yeah, it's kind of odd that he would have a license and thing that would be that old. Typically, the Mark V and X's were standard issue.
That we know of?
Yeah, that we know of. That is a good point, but still, never
That
seen one like this before.
it could have been an early prototype. I mean, they had to start somewhere.
Maybe he's one of the secret things from Roswell.
The what?
Oh, the technocracy owns Roswell. They release some very interesting things out of it.
Oh, see, that's not what Claire was aiming at, but sure, we'll go with that.
That's what he was thinking. He says, "Well, let's see what this guy saw last." Some of the video footage is corrupted, but it should still work. I can get it going here. And you look on the screen, and it shows kind of an audio feed. The closest he can get is it kind of fuzzes out and gets into view, and then it sees, the house, walking up to the house. Guy opens the door, and then kind of goes static a bit, and then it's on the inside of the house. Not much audio, but you see kind of a typical thing. The thing seems to be going through the house, and it says house, spiral staircase, 12 feet, analyzing, spiritual residue, primal residue, powers, resulting, entire area, slipped through, different dimension, analyzing, received, danger towards kitchen, do not proceed, and then you see it kind of look up towards the stairway, and you can see that big hulking thing come out and look down at it. Possible hostile detected. Thing just kind of gets up and leaves. Analyzing. No longer threat detected. Proceeding on. Goes through the house, kind of looks through some rooms, and you realize that the house you went into was pretty big. And then he gets to this one room that's got a very interesting look to it. You see the camera pan to a door that's kind of like almost a metal freezer door, similar to the door in the kitchen, but it's got chains wrapping around it, locking it down. Analyzing, attempting subterfuge, and it reaches out its hands, and you see the hands come from the camera sides. It reaches onto one of the chains and pulls it taut, and just breaks it. It then opens the door, and it goes in. You then see something very strange looking. You see a room with two what look like coffins, glass coffins. It's very dark, very faintly illuminated by some very blue light coming from either side. In the glass coffins, there is a woman and then a man on the other side. And there are at least a dozen other glass coffins, although they are all empty. The man and the woman both have a knife buried into their chest. Analyzing, and then you see the camera look up, and you can see just for a brief second something kind of move in the darkness, although the camera itself doesn't seem to be able to focus on it. And then it says, hostile detected, and then you see a knife come flying out of the darkness and stick right into the chest of the first person camera, and then the camera just goes dark.
Can we see when this was recorded from the metadata of the file?
ST?
Yeah, sure. Let me take a look here. Take a
I
look at it.
say also why Clea does that. Is it okay if I make some kind of a cult roll to see if Claire would know what maybe the big creature earlier was?
Go ahead. That's right. You didn't join them in the house, did you? You didn't get to meet Billy.
No, I'm guessing intelligence occult or wits occult.
Probably intelligence.
Do intelligence occult. And let me just look something up real quick. He gives you the date. 1888.
You mean this footage was taken last century?
He just kind of falls back and he just leans back in his chair, and Greg just seems to be blown.
What was difficulty?
Oh, 6.
Two successes then.
You've never seen anything like that. What you guys saw at the house, actually, none of you have really seen anything like that before.
I mean, to be fair, Dahlia didn't do a roll yesterday to identify it, so.
Hmm. If she did, the closest thing you could come to is that possibly a spiritual ridden creature or something along those lines.
Are we talking about the
I was gonna
butler?
say, because Dahlia's dice pool's like 10 for that, so
Are we talking about the butler?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He says, so apparently this live video footage, he pauses for a moment, was recorded in 1888.
Okay, so either
Could someone be messing with time magic?
Possible.
Didn't it mean
yeah,
something?
or they just had this kind of technology, like
Clea,
in quotes
didn't
technology. Sorry.
didn't it mention something about dimensions earlier?
Oh, yes. Since Claire here has not been into the house with you folks, why don't you tell her what you saw?
The chain zombies and the butler and the basement vampire with the spiders.
Didn't you guys change dimension when you entered the house?
Yes, we entered a
Yeah,
horizon realm.
it felt weird.
He
No,
felt evil.
she
That's how
said,
it feels anytime you enter horizon realm. It's quite an odd feeling.
I believe the correct response would be fire would purify this place.
No, Alfred isn't there. He's nice.
Yes, the large creature was actually quite friendly.
Claire's face is twitching. People considered Ted Bundy nice also.
He offered us sandwiches. Little dude ate one. He's fine, aren't you?
She, Claire's just rubbing her forehead right now. Well, I will take your word for it for now, but I still would not trust someone in a place that feels evil.
Well, I promise I won't let him babysit my firstborn. Eye rolls.
Okay, so apparently, let's see where this was recorded from. And just put in the correspondence program. I'm going to activate the ether. You gotta be fucking kidding me. You gotta be kidding me.
Well,
Well, guess where our little well-dressed gentleman was from?
please don't say Dublin.
No, but pretty
Roswell?
close. Pretty close. Whitechapel, London, 1888.
Oh.
Claire
Oh.
cringes.
Oh.
Hmm.
No.
This has something to do with Jack.
So it's either this guy went back in time or they had this technology back in then and he was probably investigating the same thing that we're investigating now.
Either solution raises a lot of questions. Tell me,
Yeah.
Dahlia, you and your allies, was there anyone familiar with the sphere of time there? I think I can ask Alex, but did you feel any sort of other distortions when you entered?
Unfortunately, I am not adept in that sphere, and I don't think any of the others are either.
I'll have to talk with Alex then. Damn.
As my specialties lie elsewhere.
Hmm.
But something dead in front of me, that's what my specialty lies in. Sorry, I can't be of help, mister.
It's of no concern. You're all here. Just you all of you here being here and to witness this is helpful. Um. Okay.
I have another name here written, but I don't remember what it was about.
Go ahead and give me the name.
Alex Cornwick? Who was that?
Alex Cornwick. I think I've heard that name before. He goes to his computer and he starts typing up. Hmm. Yes. Here we go.
Oh,
Okay,
I think he's
according
supposed to know information about the house or something. I think.
well, according to this, Alex Cornwick is the owner of the house. Yeah, it looks like he bought it in. Looks like he bought it in 1972. Purchased the house, had a family, and then his daughter went missing. After his daughter went missing, there was a bit of a struggle in the marriage. It was later that they found the body of his wife floating through the river just not too far from here. They never found him. Let's look up some more information on this.
Oh,
Okay,
Wait,
apparently this guy was a. What is it?
where did he buy the house? It was mentioned that the house could move.
1972.
I said where?
Oh, where?
Oh, here, same address, actually.
So the house is coming. Came back.
Or
Possibly.
it was just slipping through time. It was same spot but different timelines.
I mean, it's possible that the outside of the house was there always, but the inside realm of the house is moving.
Both Claire's and Clea's theories are possible.
And honestly, I'm more worried. And she's like looking at the corpse of the Whitechapel guy. If this has to do with Jack the Ripper, what if our guy who owns this house is like possessed or something?
Also a possibility.
We don't even know if he's alive.
You think you have to be alive to be possessed?
Indeed, you do not need to be living to be used.
I don't know. I'm not into that creepy dead crap.
He
You learn
looks
a
around
lot when
like,
they hide under your bed and scream at you through your childhood.
Suppose you're right.
Alex, yes. It seems our Mr. Mystery Man here was an archaeologist. Raised his family pretty good. He had an expedition down in South America. What did he find down there?
Claire has begun
Saying
taking
here,
note.
go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying Claire's pulled out her notebook and has started making notes.
You're a
Okay,
bit
yeah, he went
late.
down to South America. He was an archaeologist. He went down to South America. He was uncovering some temples, it looks like. And it looks like they were deciding on what to do. The report here says that they hadn't quite decided on what the culture was. It had both Mayan and Aztec themes, although with the way that the temple was designed, it appeared to be more Egyptian than anything else. Let's see, they opened up the site. Here we go. This is interesting. And he clicks on a little page thing, and it says items found at dig site. And one of the pictures that comes up is a very, very familiar and very gnarly looking ritualistic knife.
Okay, that's just disturbing.
Is it like the knives we saw in the people in the coffins?
Yes.
Okay, interesting. Mm, could we go back to the video, see if we can identify the corpses or whatever they
Greg
were?
Greg activates another screen and he starts hitting some stuff on his keys. And then another screen pops up and he freezes the image right there when it shows the knives. Almost an identical match.
Um,
Okay, so the knives were the same in 1888 that this guy found. Which year was the expedition?
Let's see, the expedition took place in 1981.
So we have about a century difference of these knives being discovered in the expedition site and then being stuck into these dudes here. I
Yeah.
don't know
What?
if there's a way to identify these people.
I mean, we could maybe look at the library at missing people or murder cases, that sort of thing.
Yeah, but that was back in 1888.
Do you know
Seemingly,
how far back records can go?
do we know the location of the house in
They
1888?
didn't generally keep missing persons data that far back.
Yeah, but
And that
newspaper.
was in Whitechapel. This
If
is where the
anything,
house were.
looking up some information on his family's death might lead us somewhere. As for looking up information on those who died in the footage here in 1888, that might be a lot harder. It says here
Oh,
he came back. It says, ooh, this is interesting. Listen to this, everyone. It says here that when he came back with the artifact, the guy was pretty wealthy. So instead of turning the artifact over to the museum, he kept it himself. And lo and behold, that's when the trouble started. That's when his daughter disappeared, and that's also when he went crazy. Afterwards, after they couldn't find him, disappeared, the house was bought by a John Abrams, and he owned the house for a while and then said he was hearing voices and etc. and sold the house, and now the house is currently condemned. It's currently going through the city of Orlando's red tape, and no one has deemed it demolished yet, interestingly enough, although it is set for demolition, and yet no one has done anything about it yet.
Do we know if there is anyone blocking the demolition actively?
Well, it says here, it's not saying anything on the official website. Let me check the Ethernet and see what I can find. And you see his eyes kind of glaze over white when he does that, and you
well,
see kind of a different thing pop up on his computer.
Claire will not
And
impressed.
for those of you who have spirit, a pattern spider jumps out of his computer.
Oh, it's so cute.
Greg looks down at the spider and then he says, "Oh, hey, sorry, here, hold on." He reaches into his pocket, pulls out that little Tony Stark arc reactor thing, presses a button on it, says, here's one for the trouble." Spider looks at him, says, "Oh, why, thank you. What is it? You simply need access, Greg, yes? Oh, yeah, just let me in." "Oh, of course." Pattern Spider leaps back into his computer,
Claire
and
is
you see
whispering to herself how she wants one.
his computer turn into a network of spider webs on the screen, and he starts kind of looking around and he points at something, and then this odd little text comes up, and it's text like you'd see in the classic, early 90s to mid, early 90s computers, like the green text, but it's wavy and fancy, and it seems to be like kind of moving. He says, "Let's see here. Okay, here we go. Okay, there's nothing in the official reports about blocking the house, but according to the Ethernet, there were a lot of erased reports on some demolition crew that went into the house. Apparently, according to this, they came running out screaming. And hence then they haven't been able to send in any working crews, and for whatever reason, the city of Orlando does not wish to demolish the building. But if I had to take a guess, I bet this might have something to do with Pentex.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. It seems to
Tell me,
pop up a lot.
we were having a little bit of discussion before we started investigating the house. There were some interesting characters around investigating the house with odd looking implements, probably technocracy agents. They're probably trying to research the house or harvest it in some way. Tends to be what Pentex does.
Now, can we just take salt and fire to it?
I don't think it's that simple.
Well, yes and no, Claire. Theoretically, you could destroy the outer shell. But then the house would simply appear at another abandoned site, or maybe somewhere else all entirely. If you actually want to get rid of the problem, I guess that's one way to get rid of it per se, but not really
Oh
permanently.
no, no,
Who knows?
I want the trouble it's making gone.
Well, if it's gone
It's
for us, it will appear for someone else. Might as well
big.
resolve it.
The big evil bad creature thing said we have to go to ballroom. We have to go to ballroom to get rid of it, but the house wouldn't fight back.
Big evil creature? Greg raises an eyebrow.
Yes,
Oh
with
yeah,
bat wings.
yeah, the basement vampire.
Did he have a name?
Uh, um,
Mm,
did he give
no,
us a name?
you see, I don't think so because evil creature. I
Hmm,
think it proposed to give them. Oh, you see, I think it proposed to give the name, but it was like probably shouldn't.
I see. Well, makes sense.
Clea, I
Um, hmm,
really worry about some of the places you and your friends go. One of these days you're gonna come back hurt.
I mean,
Dahlia's gonna go ahead and, shrug her sleeve off her shoulder and show the big ass fucking gash mark from
I
hook
mean,
chain.
the
things
chains.
happened. We both got hurt from the chain zombie, but
Hmm.
Dahlia
All
is
right.
a beautiful and innocent lady. We should not be dragging her into danger.
I,
Greg stands
I
up
am
and
I
far from
yeah,
mean,
innocent.
Greg stands up and looks at your wound, Delia,
and
since he's
far
a
from
surgeon.
helpless. Like,
And she'll smile, but
Greg,
you are beautiful.
he taps the area with his scalpel just a little bit. He says, "That's good stitch work. Stopped bleeding pretty quickly. You didn't use any magic on this one, but good work."
Thank you. I'm quite adept when it comes to medical procedure.
Oh, very nice. Wouldn't expect anything less from one of the higher ups of the Verbena. And he looks over at Matthias and he says, "Well, what's your opinion on all this?" He's like, "Hey, I'll tell you what, Greg. I've time traveled once. Once was enough. As for what's going on with this, I say we start investigating that name lead, and we might want to take a little bit of a trip down to see what this site is all about as well. Although hopefully it won't be in disturbing territory. I don't remember if there are any kingdoms down in South America, but I do remember that some of our furry friends have a place down
fairy friends?
there. Hmm,
Are we talking
right.
about
Hmm.
the?
Lupines.
Oh yeah, I think I saw one. Maybe.
Hmm. Yeah, that is kind of their territory. Although I'm sure it wouldn't be much intrusion if they even spotted some things. I imagine I could get Mark to open a nice little correspondence portal down there. We could investigate the site. But another thing we should probably investigate is these locations that were given where Jack could be. Could be nothing, but we might as well at least give it a shot. It's kind of all we got to work on right now.
I would suggest nobody go alone, but we should split the load. Maybe two teams of 2 or 3 to do this.
I mean, nobody's going anywhere alone anyway.
Not to mention, for those of you who have escorts, you have not seen your escorts nearby.
Yeah, but they're always
I
there.
assume mine's crawling on the roof again.
Probably. Greg actually kind of looks over at Claire and he's like, "Wait a minute, are you with Ray?"
Yes, he likes to spy from the roof when I go to visit my church friend.
Who is
he
Ray?
goes to he goes to his microphone and he presses a button. He's like, "Ray, get off my roof." It's just static for a moment, and then you hear, "Okay, Greg."
Who is Ray?
It's
Right.
the dude that keeps Claire safe.
Claire raises a finger. I keep myself safe, thank you very much. She'll look at uh, cat girl, Katrin,
Catherine.
and she'll be like, "This is my friend, my very
Uh,
special friend that crawls all over the place."
Avatar?
No,
No.
no,
Okay.
that's
No, we've each been given a partner that we aren't allowed to leave the house without. She looks over at
Yeah, Matthias just kind of shrugs and he's like, I can go invisible if you want me to.
I wasn't given a partner.
I don't mind you being here.
You were not here,
S-
cat.
Smiles a bit. And Greg kind of sighs and he's like, all right, well, dang, we got a lot of stuff to do. We got this freaking possible Avatar storm out in the ocean. We've got Pentex moving in on Orlando. We've got an age-old killer that's going around killing people without discrimination. Can't find anything about him. And now we've got a freaking what looks like ancient ceramistic dagger, which could very well be possessed by some kind of spirit.
And the hit mark?
And the hit marks. Speaking of which, did any of you hear about that break-in that happened not too long ago at the Museum of Natural History down over there near Main Street?
Hmm,
mm. Claire shakes her head. No,
Odd
I was.
stuff.
Yeah, I was. I mean, we should check that out. It might be connected, but I was dealing with something personal.
I don't read the news.
Might be good. That actually might be a good place to check out. But get this, he starts looking at the Ethernet again. Hey, get this, guys. So remember that big creepy knife that he brought to his house? Well, after the guy disappeared, apparently police found it and donated it to the local history museum. And guess what was stolen last week?
Oh, fuck.
Well, that explains that.
Oh, see, I have to go. I'll see you guys later.
Okay,
He's
Bye, kitty.
Claire's yelling obscenities like by Gaia's tits.
he looks at the thing and he's like, well, it looks like knife, diamond, and a few old Native American artifacts were taken. Oh, and a Spanish doubloon.
What? Oh,
Spanish doubloon.
and who took them? I mean, okay, I guess we
But
don't know who took them, but,
the pattern spiders tell me that security was cut. No cameras were active at the time. They're chalking it up to a malfunction. They even put a brand new security system in the museum last week.
If the technocracy really wants in, a new security system isn't going to stop them.
Indeed, that's what I say.
That is, unless the technocracy already got everything they wanted. You
As
know
I
how.
said, I
why,
said if the technocracy wants in,
why
a
would
new
they
security system
want,
won't stop them.
why would they want a knife, some rocks, and the coiny thingy?
Artifacts can hold power, even if it's just an emotional state left behind.
I just think it's weird.
Claire's trying very hard to keep her tongue bit right now.
You think a lot of things are weird, darling.
Well, I could always ask the voices if they stop screaming what they might have to say on this.
Are they reliable voices?
I mean, they did show me to the shiny saint man.
Oh, you mean the vampire dude?
I will not demean his nature by calling him that.
Isn't that what he is, though?
You could always be polite to them and you could call them kindred.
I didn't say it to his face.
Matthias is just looking at Cleo like, okay.
Yeah, they get quite testy. if you call them vampires.
I didn't call him a vampire, did I?
Yeah, you just did.
Here? He's not here. Is he here? Is he here, Claire?
She looks around. She goes, I don't see his glow, so you're safe.
I don't think it's
I,
dangerous.
I will say this out of character. If he wanted to be there and not be seen, none of you would know he was there.
Nah,
Not
I
even the
think the only
NPCs would know.
yeah, I'd like Greg. Greg would the only thing Greg would probably have is he's got a nice little toy, but I don't think that'd be a pretty difficult role for him to make.
Well, I don't think he's dangerous. He seemed nice.
No, I mean, he's a pacifist for the most part. He hunts back.
Who are we talking? Who are we talking about here?
He's a very
Matthias.
nice priest who shines with a halo.
But he's also a vampire. He's pretty cool, actually.
Her eyebrow twitches. Most of the undead are just like you and I,
I'm
minus
not,
the magic.
I'm not immortal. I don't drink blood.
Claire's just rubbing her forehead now again.
Matthias is just sitting there chuckling. It's okay. She called me
Say,
a
we're not the
Wendigo. Yes,
same.
it's okay. She called me a Wendigo yesterday.
No, I didn't. I said
And
you were an ice troll.
called me a Wendigo.
I don't even
I
know
am
what
no
that
Wendigo.
is.
I believe that was someone else who called you a Yeti, darling.
Ah, that's right. It
Yeah,
was
I don't even know what that is. I just said you were an ice troll. A nice ice troll, even. Learn to take a
Claire
compliment, people.
Claire's tilting her head at Matthias. She goes, you don't look like what the stories say trolls look like.
Oh,
it's it's because I've got my glamour up.
oh yeah, he does. It's so cool. It's blue and
What you're
purple.
seeing is his mortal mind.
It's pretty cool.
Does everyone but the dead hide behind masks here?
Many people hide behind masks. This is a world of darkness. Hiding behind a mask keeps you alive longer. We mages have a very nice way of hiding by simply being the most normal out of most things of the night. No
I
offense.
don't know
He
about
looks over. He
that.
looks over at Matthias. Matthias is like, none taken.
Normal?
Well, if you look at a mage, we as mages, we as the magi, we're pretty human. In all technological terms, we are human. But we have an avatar essence with us. We are humans that can manipulate reality, but we're still, by all biological and technical means, human.
Manipulate reality, yes. I believe I heard a hermetic once say that he makes reality his bitch.
Yeah,
I
I
believe
met
was
that
the way
guy.
he put it.
Some
He
people
was
are
kind of an ass.
arrogant.
Thank
Well,
goodness, Mister. Thank goodness, our relative hermetic is not quite the asshole. Xavier is quite open-minded and not as arrogant as that one was.
I believe I've heard people say way worse about reality, but this situation we're dealing with really should be resolved because I feel like this would really help with my midnight visitors.
Well, all in
Perhaps.
due time. I mean, we're working on it. No pressure or anything, right?
Matthias starts literally doing an origami crane out of ice.
Show off.
Sets it down on Greg's desk. Greg's like, it's gonna melt, Matthias. Matthias just looks at him. It's like, no, you're a mage. Think of something. And he's like, God damn. Takes it and puts it in the fridge.
Dahlia pulls one out of her bag that she's had in there since they met.
Matthias is like, see, Greg, see, it works. Greg's just got his arms folded and he's like, ah,
A little matter's all you need.
I know, but he once left 100 of the darn things on my chair.
Sounds like a you
And they
problem.
and
Well,
they melted.
Again, that sounds like a you problem, not a me problem.
that was funny.
He just looks at Matthias, then he looks at Dahlia.
You
He's
two are
just like,
so cute together. This is motioning between Dahlia and Matthias.
Yeah, Cleo's just cracking up. I guess the nice ice troll is also a trickster.
he says, "Well, I did poop in the Lady of the Lakes domain."
Yeah, oh, they're cringing again. And she's moved to sit right beside Greg and look at the paused scene of
You
the.
you know I'm never going to hear the end of this now, right? Because you and I are friends, and because
I
I'm the apprentice to, Merlin.
Yeah,
I
but it's still
know.
funny.
Hey, you see Matthias just kind of look around. He's like, "Hey, Merlin, wherever you are, don't hold it against me."
Don't tempt him. He,
Dahlia,
he he likes to possess me. I'd rather you not.
roll me an arete.
Oh, god damn it.
So what's the deal with this Merlin? Is he like married to the Lady of the Lake or something?
No, he was married to Morgana.
Isn't she like his aunt?
Then why would he be pissed about this? It wasn't his leg that he pooped in.
Difficulty.
Uh, this is going to be difficulty 8.
And she doesn't know to focus, so yay.
Not today, Satan.
Not
Uh,
today, asshole, not
oh,
today.
surprisingly, you feel Merlin's presence, Dahlia, kind of flow into you, and then he kind of stops and he says, "Hmm, no, no, I will. That would be far too easy. I still owe Matthias for that. Hmm. I can do this though." And you feel his presence kind of leave you, and you see a piece of just a chunk of the body that was being dissected go flying and hit Matthias right in the face.
She winces a little bit because she knows who that was.
And he's like, "God damn it, old man." He starts cleaning himself
What
off.
the hell was that?
I told you not to make him angry.
Claire's still looking
I'm
around with spirit
sorry. Is
activity.
he like listening in every time you talk to people?
Oh, wait, Claire, you were looking with spirit?
Yeah, I'll make
Okay.
another roll
Uh,
if I have.
no, no, no. When that happened, you were temporarily blinded by spiritual and primal energy light.
Fuck.
Like,
Is it
And
normal to see just light and darkness?
it's kind of like someone took like how, like, when you see the flash of a camera, like, in your
Oh,
face.
no. You had spirit up when he came, didn't you? Okay.
I usually keep it up. It's nicer to have a face to the voices that are hiding and screaming.
It'll fade.
okay, but you didn't tell me. Is this guy like listening in to every conversation you have? Like always?
Generally,
He's,
only if his name is mentioned.
he's almost like a jealous husband or an
Uh,
overprotective
so
leader.
what happens if you wanna do like, private stuff?
Then I don't say his name.
I mean,
I mean,
I,
yes, it
I I
wouldn't
thought you were
sound
into
very
kinky shit, so, maybe.
clear. It
I
wouldn't
mean,
exactly.
I suppose you
Clear.
can ask Matthias, but
Clear.
I'm
It
pretty
wouldn't.
sure not it's Merlin's name I'm calling.
It wouldn't
Uh,
exactly be kinky of me just to shout Merlin after a nice fuck.
Claire's gonna lean over with an evil smirk as close to Clea's voice as she can
I
get
mean, it would be funny though.
and whisper, I mean, we all know it's not Dahlia saying Merlin's name when they do that. And she looks right at Matthias.
Well, it would make sense, because then it would be like, yeah, look, old man, or something. I mean, he must be old, right? He's old, right?
We should
Once you
Clea,
reach a certain level of
Clea,
magic within the life sphere, you no longer age.
Clea,
and also we should probably
Yeah?
drop this because he's probably still listening.
take one bashing damage as something whacks you on the head really hard.
Whatever.
Something whacks you again in the side.
That's a cowardly way of doing things.
You get whacked in the head again.
Still a coward.
He nails you with, well, figuratively, it feels like you're getting nailed with a staff between your legs. Hard.
I don't have balls, dude.
Doesn't matter, it still hurts when you get hit
That's
there.
what's so hurt.
Have you never been Oh my god, please, like, you're lucky if you have not been hit between the legs. Even as a woman, that shit fucking hurts.
I have 4 stamina. And I'm resilient.
Uh,
I don't give
well,
a fuck.
Yeah, while Clea handles that, Claire will have Greg restart the videos so she can see if she can pick up
Yep.
anything else in it.
Yep, Greg will definitely do that. Go ahead and roll me one of your alertness or perception checks. And Clea, you're just kidding. Dahlia, if you're looking at her with spirit, you can see Merlin's spirit kicking the shit out of Clea just for that moment.
Oh yeah, she's fucking dying laughing right now.
Just
Yeah,
straight
it's so
perception.
fucking funny. Yeah, great. Well, okay. Since my presence here is no longer needed or necessary or wanted, and some old man who doesn't have the guts to appear wants to, you know, do that kind of shit, I'm out of here. Well, morgue dude, send me a copy. I'm out.
He's cracking
You
up and he
people are
says,
the
"Copy that,"
worst.
as he goes back to looking at video. I'll
Just
send you a
perception.
copy for your email. Yeah, perception alertness. With your all set up.
Okay.
Okay, Merlin, that's enough.
Oh, Merlin stops the moment she leaves.
Ooh.
You hear him say inside your mind, "Oh, young ones, no respect."
What was difficulty?
6.
Okay, so that got canceled. That got canceled. 2 successes.
Okay. You do notice something, Claire, and only you notice this. The hourglass appears.
Ah, shit. She'll say it out loud.
The hourglass kind of points on over to a little corner of the film, of the footage.
Pause, Greg. She says it as immediately as it's pointing.
Greg pauses.
She's going to lean close to that part of the film and start looking.
You're able to see that Greg can actually pan the footage and do different angles, despite the fact that it's only got one angle.
Sadly, she
And
knows how to turn on computer and use Internet Explorer. That's it.
you turn down to the coffins, and on one of the coffins there's an inscription.
Can you zoom in on the inscription?
Zooming in now and enhancing.
Mm.
The name on the placard is an odd name. Shiwan Khan.
She'll repeat the name out loud. Any of you guys recognize that name?
No, I know of a Genghis Khan. I don't know of a Shiwan Khan.
Maybe it's one of his illegitimates. Or grandchildren, or... God, that man had a lot of children.
Mass descendant, perhaps?
Maybe. I mean, we could research the name some. Thank you, peer pressure. She'll say towards wherever the hourglass was appearing at.
The hourglass looks at you and it says, "Anytime."
Did it say in kind?
Anytime.
Oh, anytime. Okay. She'll nod. She goes, still is kind of creepy, that thing with the skull talks to me. She's going to mutter to herself.
Dahlia,
Yes.
you hear a man's voice speak to you. It is obviously not your avatar. It is not Merlin. The male voice says, he will be waiting in the sect of the museum called Tibetan.
Dolly's gonna kind of look around.
No one there. Even Merlin's gone at this point. There's a
She's
slight
gonna
little breeze. There's a slight little breeze that blows by you, and that's it.
she's gonna take kind of a deep breath and calm herself down a little bit.
The voice did sound very familiar.
Well, I would say maybe Matthias should take Dahlia and I just pretend to be Dahlia's sister. We go on a group outing during the day, canvas out the museum, and get a feel for it.
Except Claire didn't hear this.
I wasn't reacting to that. I was reacting to stuff earlier because they've mentioned the museum earlier
Yep.
that it got robbed.
And Greg kind of looks at something up. He's like, let me look up Shiwan Khan here. Well, hey, there is some interesting at the museum. Huh. New Tibetan exhibit. Wonder what that's all about.
Her eyes kind of widen a little bit.
Yeah, they just got a couple things. They got some paintings, some scriptures. They got a giant steel sarcophagus. Oh, that's interesting.
That's kind of odd.
Oh, yeah, might be worth checking out. Well, in a couple of nights here, who's up for a little museum expedition? I happen to know a friend there. Matthias kind of looks up and he's like, "Don't tell me you're using Terran again, Greg." Greg just kind of looks at Matthias, and Matthias is like, "Oh, whatever."
Mr. Gregg, if we do this, perhaps we should call Clea back. I'm sure Matthias is very powerful, but I would like at least two people who can punch properly.
Hey, I mean, it's your choice. I know Matthias will gladly go with you and help out. I can get another contact to help you out there. I can get one of your escorts to help you as well. I mean, you guys are not alone. You got help.
She'll look towards Ray. Are you much of a puncher?
It's at this point that Ray finally makes himself known. He just kind of comes around from the corner.
Oh, I thought he had already come down.
No, he had not. He's not. He hasn't been in the whole room, but now he comes down and he says, "Well, I do have a black belt in Eskrima and Kav McGraw."
Well, that's much better than me.
I'd take that as a yes.
So I've been listening in a bit, and I take it we're going to go visit this place. Shall we
Mm,
say maybe after hours?
I take it we will. Any arguments, peer pressure? She'll say that part out loud too, because that's her nickname for her avatar now.
Well, I have no objections. I say it's high time we go and see the Tibetan exhibit. Maybe tomorrow night then.
Yep. And I feel we should probably tell some of the others about what we've found so far, just in case.
Oh yeah, Greg's already sent me some of the data, and he's sending some to Claire and Katie as well. So we'll be set. And I think that's where we'll end the session. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. Good night.